Well, okay. Welcome back to a Friday afternoon of all things wood turning, folks. My name's Todd Rains, and I'm here in my studio in Allen, Texas, and it is Friday afternoon, 2:30. So, I'm here trying to just stay engaged with you folks, talk about wood turning, some of the things on top of my mind, and would love to hear what's on the top of your mind in wood turning. So throw a comment in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. I'm streaming to both places, so you can find me on my wood turning tool store YouTube channel, wood turning tool store Facebook page, as well as my Todd Rains Facebook page. So yeah, I'd love to hear some of your comments, some of your questions, and any sort of thing that you have to talk about in terms of, I got to get this right, I got it right wrong again, tools and equipment, processes and techniques, wood and materials. So that's kind of like all things wood turning are facing, and so that's kind of where it's a huge field, obviously, and every Friday I just kind of attack a certain aspect of it. So yeah, so good to see you folks here. So thanks for joining, Tony. Good to see you again. Just saw you, yeah, not less than 12 hours ago, probably. So well done. Tony's in the club I demonstrated to last night. So thanks for joining, Tony. Gary, good to have you. Or sorry, Greg. I think I combined your first and last name and got Gary somehow. So Greg Bray. So good to have you. Thank you. And David is back. Can I turn a standard scraper or gouge into a bowl bottom gouge? Yes, gouge, bowl gouge, you can turn into a bottom bowl gouge. Absolutely. In fact, I'll show you that here in a second. I've done the exact same thing to a small gouge of mine. So we'll take a look at that. That's a good question, David. Let me just get my thoughts straight. What was I going to say? I had something planned. I can't remember. But anyway, I think that was really the end of the intro, is what I was getting at. So we should get on with the show. I really don't. This series I started up just last week. I really didn't have a big plan for each one. Previous series I've had certain theme going through them. I did a shop tips and jigs series. I did a face grain series. I did a small project series. All those you can find on my website. So take a look at those. I'll just show that now since we're on the subject. So let me put that one up. I get down in the corner. And so here's the Wood Turning Tool Store website. First on the splash of the front page, I do have an upcoming demo coming, so take a look at that. But if we go into, I got to get the right window open here. I'm going to drag this over to another screen so I can see what I'm doing. Live streams, yeah, that's what we're talking about. So if you go into Explore Wood Turning menu item, I think 4 down is live streams, all things wood turning with Todd Rains. That's me. Yeah. Here you can find all the past series. So in fact, you can watch this one right here live. So we can watch ourselves live here. Here you can find all the past series. So that's kind of easy way to kind of find the live stream, just Wood Turning Tool Store. But here's the past one from last week. Here's the 4 project series I did, I think in November. And then here's the shop tips and jigs series. And then down below, I'm scrolling fast. Sorry, folks, at Blinking Pie. Here's the face grain series. So all these live streams are right here on the website. They're up on YouTube as well, so you can take a look at them there. So yeah, so let's go and take a look at what we're doing here. Oh, I got something playing here. 1 second. I clicked on my own live stream. I just got a little spindle of pine on here and just thought I'd play around a little bit. But let me show you this gouge that Dave was asking about. So here is, let me get its mate. Yeah, well, it's close enough. Let me get a brush on that. So we'll get a little close up on this. So here is a couple of little 3/8 bowl gouges. I've got one that I've used my standard 55-degree bevel angle. I've just knocked the heel off a little bit, and use this grind almost all the time with swept back wings that are slightly I always get that wrong, convex, sorry, or straight. And so that's my standard bowl gouge grind. Well, I had 1, 2, 3 of these kind of bowl gouges hanging around. So I converted this one to a bottom bowl gouge. So let me just zoom out a little bit for a second here. I've got one, there are 2 unhandled I use in my modular handles. And we talked about this handle system last week, as well as other handles. This one I put in a handle, made my own handle, just a brass nut that I put on there. It's a compression fitting nut, and turned it with a electrical tape. Gets me a little bit of grip there. So that one I couldn't take out of the handle. The other one is a V flute. This one was a U flute. So I decided to take the U flute, David. And if I zoom back in again here, you can see the remnants of the wing that was here on the 55-degree bevel, just like this one. Don't roll off. There we go. So that's the remnants of the wing there. And I just took it to the grinder. This part is the heel knocked off. If I tip it up and get the light glinting off that front edge, there is the front bevel that is now ground at a very steep, probably 70-degree bottom bowl gouge. So this profile along here, if I hold it like that, it's got a little nose on it. I didn't quite finish grinding it. I got to grind that back a little bit. I don't want that pointy nose there. So that profile should, for a bottom bowl gouge, where is it? Oh, there it is. Should almost look like a roughing gouge across the front of it in a way, right? And in that it's kind of square across the profile. Now I have another one here that a bottom bowl gouge that I'll show you. This is on a master cut gouge, and you can kind of see the profile is pretty well straight across. The bevel is pretty blunt at about a 60 or 70-degree angle, and it's kind of like that. What I tend to do, and it's not so pronounced on this one, is I'll take this left wing and I'll sweep it back a bit. This one stood up a bit straighter, and this one swept back a little bit. So when I get to a bottom of the bowl, let's grab a bowl here. I got to widen out a little bit. When I get to shaping inside a bowl, that left wing that I swept back a little bit kind of just gets out of the way, and so I can get to the bottom of a bowl without having that wing catch a little bit. I'm trying to get that on camera a little bit for you. So yeah, absolutely. Turn a gouge you're not using as a regular swept back wing gouge, and regrind it and just blunt the end off of it, and then put a nice little bevel on it like that. So yeah, good question. To be honest, I don't use a bottom bowl gouge that often. I should do more so. I did a demo last night. I was talking about that Tony was at for the hill country turners and Alamo turners, and did a bowl and a bowl, and I talked about the bottom bowl gouge, but I never pulled it out. I never brought it out to use, because I was just comfortable enough with the 55 degree bevel angle that I have. And they always say that your best tool is the one you're most comfortable with. So, and I'm most comfortable with that 55-degree bevel. Bowl gouge, swept back wing. At this point, I've been using it for 14 years now, like that. So ever since I took the class with Al Sturt. And so I'm quite comfortable with that grind. And most all of my gouges are ground that way. I've converted 2 or 3 over to 40-40 ground. And then I've got 1 or 2 bottom bowl gouges. Yeah, so yeah, it's just a repertoire of what you are comfortable with, what you like to use, and what you need. Yeah, so beat that one to death, hopefully. I don't know about scrapers. Standard scraper, you can't really turn a scraper into a gouge, but you could do a scraper single bevel into a double bevel scraper. So certainly can do that. So we got some other friends in the house. Philip, thanks for joining across the pond. Good evening to you, sir. Having a Friday night pint, and good to have you here. Tony, what's Tony say? I'd like to hear your thoughts on the woodcut tools. Okay, we'll take a look at those in a second. Mike, oops, and put the wrong thing on there. Happy Friday, Todd. Thank you. Happy Friday to you, Michael. Hopefully you're comfortable and warm up in Victoria, British Columbia. David, cool. Thank you. Yeah, you bet. Any other questions, folks? Please share. And I was turning a trunk and wanted to use the pith. None of my gouges worked. Yes. So if you're turning a trunk, are you turning end grain with the pith at the bottom? Is that because I'm kind of thinking you want a bottom bowl gouge, and if the pith is at the bottom, you're turning end grain. Clarify that for me, David, if you are. Or is the pith going across the where's my bowl? I turned this one. So this one I turned in the way, and I got to widen out. I think this is the one I actually turned last night. Didn't turn out that great, but this has the pith kind of going from here across to the other side here. So it was right across this section here, but not at the bottom. So if the pith is at the bottom of the bowl, well, that's maybe not a good place for it unless it's end grain. So David said yes, end grain. So end grain. So an end grain bowl. Yeah. So there's that's a good discussion. Kind of leads into a little bit of what I talked about last night. So let's talk a little bit about that. So here I've got a little template that's going to kind of help us talk a little bit about this. I'll raise this tool rest up so I can rest this on here. Dun, dun, dun. So we've got what looks like a bowl form, and this is the typical bowl grain orientation where the grain is running across this way. So typical face grain blank where the tree pith is running perpendicular to this thing. So it could be running across here or up here, but it's I'll grab that bowl again. Actually, do I have, looking in my, yeah, that'll work. Yeah, there we go. Bowl blank. Pith is running right through the center here, or this way. So you've got grain going this way, going across the way that way. So what we have is, when we're cutting the exterior of the bowl, if we're doing the outside and it's facing this way, then we've got grain going this way, and we want to cut up this way. So if I get a gouge here for a second. On the outside, we want to cut this way up the outside to have, and that's off camera, just realized that. We want to cut this way up the outside so that we're cutting supported fibers. when we're cutting the inside, which David is talking about, we want to cut from the large diameter down to the small diameter on the face grain. If we're cutting, and that's going to give us supported fiber, so we'd cut large to small in the inside on face grain. If it's end grain, then the grain is going this way. It's spindle orientation, just like this piece of pine. If we cut the inside going that way, we're tearing out. We're going to get mostly sawdust, and so cutting from the inside of a bowl end grain, you want to cut from small diameter to large diameter. You want to cut in here and scoop out this way, in here and scoop out this way. So I don't know that a bottom bowl gouge is going to help you much there, David, because it certainly is going to be better than maybe this. Going to fit in there a bit better cutting the bottom, but you're going to have some grain. You're going to be fighting the grain. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. I don't mind breaking the rules. I did last night quite a bit shaping in this bowl and bowl. But just know what rules you're breaking and how to kind of counteract that with cleaning that up. For doing an end grain bowl, I would use a hook tool if it's not too deep, or a spindle gouge traditional way, and drill a hole and then scoop out the inside from this way. So you're cutting up with the grain. It'll cut much cleaner. Good questions, though. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Michael has booked his flights for AW, so he's on his way to Chattanooga is that June or July? I can't remember now. I have to look at my calendar. Oh, it's right here. Hang on. That just got me curious because I got thinking about it. It is in June 23rd. Excellent. Yeah, we're planning to be there. Cross our fingers, or I cross my fingers. Everything goes okay that way. So excellent. So what shall we do today? Tony says I need to book flights and a hotel. Yeah. Well, we're driving out, Tony. So we'll see you there. From here, from you, Tony, it's another 8 hours. But well, maybe not 8. Was it 5? San Antonio 5, something like that. Yeah. It's I think about a 12-hour drive or a 10 to 12-hour drive. So it's not too bad. We can. Here's my Diet Coke. Sorry, folks. So yeah, we'll be driving out. So I don't know really what. Like I said, I didn't really have a huge plan today of what to do, but I thought I would at least maybe turn a little bit of something. So I've got a little spindle. First, let me kind of. I guess I not that I completely lie about this, but I do have a bit of a plan, but not structured. Tony says he's about June. Thanks, Michael. And Tony says about 5 hours for me. Yeah, so that's right. We're about 5 hours apart. Troy says, "Hey, Todd. Hey, Troy. Good to have you here. Good Lord, it's morning there. I think morning tomorrow morning for you. So good to have you here, Troy. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So Troy demonstrated at the online symposium that was a couple of weeks ago. The Woodturners Worldwide, and I got to be his moderator in that session. So it was a lot of fun to catch up with Troy, and we had met a couple of years ago at the Raleigh Symposium. I don't know if I barely remember the 2 minutes I spent chatting with him, but it was good to get to know him again. And so he's a great turner from New Zealand, North Island, I believe, right, Troy? So excellent. So back to my thoughts. Let's see here. Let me just transition that. So there's my contact info. If you ever need anything from me, got questions about tools or the demos or whatever I do, or just turning questions, just give me a shout. I'm happy to talk wood turning. I put this in my last newsletter that went out a couple days ago. Some ideas on the egg shape. So it's a great shape to learn form and what's the word? Proportion. Thank you. I was about to say proposition. I don't know where that came from. A proportion and form. So I had turned quite a number of years ago, just to kind of get the things, uh, the shape and ideas in my head. I took a class with Don Derry, and he was all about shape and form. And we turned, multiples of eggs. We turned spheres. We turned football shapes. We turned pairs, and we turned pregs. And pregs are a pear and an egg kind of put together. It's kind of his shape. So if you ever turn a preg, let me know, and we'll know what we're talking about. So, but anyway, what might you do with egg shapes? So egg shapes are kind of eggs come in all different kind of shapes. So I do have a bit of a plan in the back of my mind for some egg shapes. So you might get an idea of where I'm going with what I've put together there with the drawings. So that's what I'm kind of looking to do. We'll save that for intermission time, that next announcement. So let me get my little skew. There it is. And we'll put on the safety glasses, and we'll turn some really small eggs. So I don't know. We'll try and figure out how that goes. I'm just kind of in the workshop. I was playing the other day. So here's a few of the eggs I turned a few years ago. Here's a couple or three I turned the other day. So just scrap pine, just using scrap pine to kind of play with the shape and figure out how you do eggs again, because they really are good training for the eye, just like spheres. And so let's do I got this tightened down enough? I believe I do. And let's see if we can get that might work. Power's on. This is going. That is in the way. I'm going to work on this end, so we'll zoom that in a little bit. And we'll just I've got a little gauge here that I'm going to use. I'm actually going to turn a little Morse taper on this guy, and we'll stick it in the headstock. See if I can do what damage I can do left-handed. Just going to mark that about there. Let's take a look. That's going to be pretty close to a taper that I want. I'll just use that as a demarcation point. Wonder how that fits. Don't have to do it this way. You can do it between centers, but I thought, well, it's about the right size. Let's see if we just bonk that in there, and you can't see that. Turn that over. push it in a little bit. I'll leave that tailstock. I'm going to have to change this out for the little one. But this will allow us to get right down here without this in the way. So let's see. Oh, yeah. So Troy said, like Tapu. Yep. You bet. That's, and then scrapwood's perfect practicing. Yeah, absolutely. So, I've got a bunch of this pine kicking around, from some of it's from 2x4s, but some of it's from, pine stock that I bought years ago. Some of it's from some pine stock. Another turner who retired had boxes full of blanks he had created. So I picked those up from him. So, yeah, just might as well use what you got, practice with, and pine is pretty easy to work. If you can get a good clean cut on pine, then you're doing great. I should turn this at full speed, but the sound gets a little bit loud. We're still a little flats, but those will turn away as I got one flat there, but that's fine. So let's figure out kind of proportion wise. I got my caliper here. I got to dig it out. Let's figure out how wide this is. So that's 5/8. And so if I go 5/8 long, that'll be a sphere, but I want to go another half the size of that, so it's 2.5 How's that for engineering math? So that'd be 5/16, and so somebody do the math for me. 6 5/8 is 10/16, 5/15/16, so almost an inch. So we'll take that over. That's going to be my length, about an inch long for this 5/8 stock is how long I want my egg. I got to move this all the way over a little bit so I don't have this point. So I'm going to start it here and end it about there. So that's going to be my size of this egg. And then I'm about 2/3 of the way through is my high spot. So skinny end, fat end, high spot. And that's kind of the way I view that. It's kind of, well, let's see, does that really hold true? So if I measure one of these guys, this is 2. I can't. My eyes are not very good. 2 3/8. So a third. So 2 3/8. It's 8s, 3, 16, 19/8. Is that right? And then so half of that is 8, about an inch, right? Or 2/3 of that. Yeah, I'm terrible at math on my feet. So let's take a look at how wide the widest part is. It's almost 1 3/4, 1 5/8, which is I think. Let's see, this is me doing mental math. Let's see. 2/8 is 16, 19/8. Divide that in thirds. 19 and thirds is 6/8, and 2/3, 12/8. It's 1 3/8. So I think I got, yeah. I go over to Metro and I feel like I should do the same. You know, I just have this thing about fractions. So, but yeah, millimeters. Anyway, let's just see if it turns out. Enough talking. So just a few parting cuts to kind of get the end defined here. And I'm not a very terrific skew user, but we will endeavor a little bit. And I should put this in my left hand to do this, but I'm not. Sharp point. Just get down in there. Showing that very well, not really. Let me tighten that up. That's looking better. Let's see, what does this camera show? Not a whole lot. What about the other one? Not a whole lot, so we'll just leave that off for now. So, yeah, let me use a tool. Maybe it might be a bit more comfortable for me. Just a nice little, so that was a 1/2 inch skew. I like this skew. It's got a rounded edge on it, so I do like that for a skew. But it's typical skew profile, but these rounded bottoms are nice to be able to roll. This is just a little spindle gouge, so this is a bit more comfortable for me. I'm not a heavy skew user. At least not for rolling beads like I need to here. Need to tuck that end in quite a bit more. Limited clearance. That's not a bother. That's going to go away on the next egg. And just trying to watch that shape. Not bad. A little egg. It's got a bump in it. I think that's that flat. It's still got a flat on it. That doesn't bother me because I'm actually going to use these eggs for something, and that's not going to be a bother. My pencil mark is still there. I'll just maybe round it out a little bit. See if we round it to get rid of that flat. Still there. We'll have to reshape the egg. It'll become shorter as the diameter gets smaller. There are different sort of shape eggs for sure, but so no egg shape is really wrong, but there are some that just look more egg-like than others. Turn that corner just a bit too quickly. And got this lump here. There. One egg. Well cut. That bottom's going to have to be tucked in quite a little bit more, so get some clearance and take the gouge way over to the left, the handle way over to the left. Just flatten that bottom off a little bit. There we go. That's one egg down. Let's do another one. Let's measure that one first and see what really we got going on. So let's do millimeters. This has to have millimeters? It does have millimeters. So as Philip suggested, let's do millimeters. So the max diameter is, what is that? 6 millimeters. And so if I multiply that by 1.5, 6, 9. Look at that. And we're actually at, that is, it's actually double. So it's about double. So it's about 12 millimeters. So that's not bad. Let's do, that may be more of a, I don't know if it's a robin eggs that's long and narrow, or I think quail eggs are kind of squat. Chicken eggs are kind of in between. Duck eggs, I think, are long and oblong, from what I remember. My wife watches a lot of cooking shows, so we get to see some of those. This one is 42 millimeters. So if I double that, that should be 84, right? It's nowhere near that length. So this one is 58, 57. So that's fat and squat, but it still looks like an egg, right? So 42 times 1.5 is 40 plus 20, 63. So pretty close. 50, 57, 63 would put me right about there. So anywhere from, 1.5 times to 2 times. There's really no rule, but that's a good place to kind of start. Okay, let's do another one. This one, let's mark it out. Now let's put the calipers down. It was 22. So we'll go about there. I'll leave a little bit in between, so that's the end of the, and there's the end of that one. All right, let's knock this one out. Get my kind of 2/3 line. Right about there, so we'll leave that line. We're going to have a little tremblay thing here going on. I've never made one of those, but interesting concept. Got a little lump right in there. That one's a little fatter. So this is great practice with the spindle gouge or skew, whatever you're comfortable with. All right. Let's just eyeball this next one. So it'll end right about there. Right about there. Right there. We'll have to get rid of that flat again, so I had to erase the line. Well, sanding will. I gotta cut that. So let's hope this doesn't blow up on me. We'll see. There we go. Yeah. There you go. We could do more and more. Let's stop for a second. We'll assess. We'll talk. We'll see what you guys think, and I shall also mention a couple of things. So, eggs are a lot of fun. We do like to eat them too. So, we just went shopping this morning and picked up 4 dozen eggs. Yeah, we got some frittatas in mind and a few things like that. So let me talk about. Yeah. Let me do this and do this. So tomorrow, Cindy is doing a demonstration, owl box and spheres, tomorrow. So sign up today. Sign up tomorrow morning. February 12th. That's tomorrow. Today's the 11th. At noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. She always does a great job, and I'm co-hosting for her, so I'll be there tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow. So check that one out. Also upcoming this month is my demo on February 23rd. Almost said the 12th. The 23rd. It's a Wednesday. It's noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, whatever that, 10 p.m. Pacific. Troy, I'm not sure what time. It's bloody early in the morning for you. But Philip, it's a good time for you. It's 6 p.m. dinner time, maybe. So look forward to joining me there. Doing small plates, little end grain plates. So have a little snippet to show. Where is that at? Let's see. I want to get here and here and here and there. And so this is a little bit of a teaser of, oops, my headphones, sorry, bear with me. There should be music in the background. Yeah, so a little comfy music. I have to hear it in my headphones. It's a little bit of a teaser showing a little bit of the small plate demo that I'll be doing, showing some of the different things we do. And I wonder if I go. I guess it's the only one I have in there. So I'm a little distracted. Well, you'll see me make one of these plates tomorrow, and not tomorrow, 23rd of Wednesday, in a couple of weeks. So let me stop that. Kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to be doing and looking at on the 23rd. So those will be little plates. We'll do what you saw there in the little clip was a face grain plate. So we'll do a little face grain plate. So there's one there. Has nice formed rim, a little lip there, defining the plate area. A nice foot that we can decorate. This one is not decorated very well, but we can do some decoration. Nice little cove detail. I will do a plate out of end grain too, because why not, right? So there is a little end grain plate, kind of same style, a little cupped rim. This one doesn't have quite and I haven't finished the nub on the bottom. I will probably end up jam chucking this to finish that bottom. So that'll be neat to see. These make great. They're not great for holding wet things because it's end grains, going to soak right through. But if you've got a little candy dish, little appetizers, even sushi, dry sushi, they make great little gifts like that. So I really enjoy making those little things. And the great thing about that demo is that you get to see face grain and end grain and the differences. So Dave, this would be a good one to maybe attend as well if you haven't bought a ticket already. Because we'll use the hook tool on the end grain one, and we'll talk about those grain differences on. Although it's not a very shallow bowl, it's still kind of a bowl turning in that middle of the plate. So we'll look at how to evacuate that on a face grain turning versus a side grain or an end grain turning, and yeah, so that'll be a good demo. So take a look at that. Those tickets obviously you can find on the website, so go take a look at that and we'll have fun. And just let you know, I'll be back next Friday, same time, same bat channel. So, and let's see, what have we got here? We've got, what is David? I'm turning 20 eggs for my daughter, teacher, preschoolers to paint. Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's a perfect idea. Great thing for teachers, for their art class, celebration of whether it's Easter or springtime or just eggs in general. We come originally from Alberta. My wife and I am from Calgary, and she's actually lived there, and that's where we met. Up in Alberta, there's a town called Vegreville, which is the Ukrainian capital of Canada, and their painted eggs are just fantastic. So there's a lot of intricate detail in those kind of things. So, but yeah, did a lot of that as a kid myself. We'll see you tomorrow, Michael. Absolutely. So, what does he say? Can't quite get used to this retirement thing, so I'm going back to work 2 days per week for my former employee. What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's I'd imagine the transition. And let me take that banner out there. Sorry, I forgot that was on. I'd imagine that transition is a little bit daunting. One of the things that's worked well for us is my last 5 years of full-time employment in the telecom industry. I worked from home and remotely into a company in New Jersey and flew up there every quarter or thereabouts. And so, but I worked from home for quite a bit, quite a few years, 5, 7 years before I started this business. And my wife worked from home as well. So we have both been telecommuting for well over 10, 12 years. And so getting used to each other, being in the same space as a husband and wife, sometimes can be a challenge, but we do it well. Wouldn't have it any other way. But sitting still or not having that work to do, yeah, how do you fill your time? I talk to a lot of retired people, and they don't have problems filling their time now with wood turning. So just get out in your shop, Michael, and do your 2 days of work week out there. So, but have fun with it. So. Dave said, or sorry, Greg says, do you sell the hook tool? I certainly do. Yep, we do have the hook tool, and is that up there? It is. Let me get down the corner. Let me turn that off for you, Greg. So if you come over to shop, bundled product is the easiest way to go. You'll see this bundle here. Scroll down. Hook tool bundle. This is the Michael Hoslow hook tool. I'll just go to that straight to the product page there. You'll see that's the hook tool there. It's about 2 3/4 inches long and has a bevel on the outside. And you stick it in the toolbar. And let's see, did that work? Let's go back to the. Here's the toolbar. You can stick it in the toolbar. There's a little 1/4 inch half round hone that I use to hone it with. So I have a great tutorial on that product. I think it's down. No, maybe it's in the hook tool. I should put it there too. Yeah, so there's some pictures of it here that kind of scroll automatically. Should. There's me honing it, and much more. Let's close up the file. And some chips flying. So, and then this video goes through about a 20-minute tutorial, how to use it, how I use it. It is an end grain tool. Wouldn't use it on side grain. Had a chat with a fella today who wanted to use it on, his on face grain, makes his own hook tools. I said, that's not something I would tell a person that's never used one before. So use it on end grain, get you a nice piece of clear, soft, easy wood, not pine or anything, but something nice, clear piece of straight grain maple or ash, and practice with that. And you'll watch the tutorial again and again, get used to the movements, and it is the most efficient thing for cleaning out end grain that I've found. So Michael says, miss being around people. Yeah. Glenn, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Our club here in Corpus Christi are turning eggs for the kids at the Driscoll Children's Hospital for Easter for them to paint. Most excellent. So I thought this would be a kind of a good, timely thing to talk about. And I guess I was right. So yeah, turn eggs. It's a great practice. I still have flats on them. Look at that right there. I just noticed in the this one barely flat, but that doesn't bother me. It's just practice. This way, the eggs will sit on the table just fine. So won't roll away. So yeah, I'll probably do a few more, and maybe just have a little nest of eggs. And let's take a look, see how well this Morse taper is going to hold, and let's turn one without tailstock support. So maybe we'll part these off as we go first, and then we'll do that. Yeah. You're welcome, Greg, anytime. And certainly reach out if you've got questions. So let's, oh, not that tool. Let's get my spindle gouge and There we go. There's one, almost. I'm going to have to hold this with my hand on the other side, sort of a steady rest, if you will. That is going to chatter quite a bit, but there's that one. Let's see if that's doing any better. Or that one. You zoom that in. And just recenter and focus that a little bit. Oh, sorry, folks. There we go. Oop. I've got this new mount on this camera up here, and oops, just past the focus point there. And I'm getting used to it, so being able to move it around and zoom and stuff. And this lens is almost parfocal, but not quite, so I do have to stop and refocus every once in a while. But yeah, anyway, geeky stuff. So now we can see the end of what we're working on. I need to take that point off. Eggs are not pointy. And that'll sand off pretty quickly with what I got here. That's 320, but while I got it here, I might as well give it a little sand. I realize you're probably not seeing that very well. There we go. That might work better. Oh, this is doy. There we go. That's better, Todd. Set up one camera and forget the other one. All right. I'm cutting the backside of this second egg. There's that little egg. All right. Just cover the tip there. Sorry for the little blocking of the camera on the end. There we go. Using this round paper and kind of rolling it into a thing kind of gets it around that corner. Sands up nice. Notice I'm not slowing down for sanding. I don't see the point. It's just such a small piece, and it's pine, so it's pretty easy to sand at speed. I want to remember that I don't want to pull too hard. I don't want to cut too hard pushing that way to pull it out of the taper. So I'm trying to be a little gentle. And there's another one. Okay, now let's do one freehand. Let's use the right ends there, Todd. Right about there. High point, somewhere in there. I do have to round this over because it's... So let me adjust the tool rest. And take the skew and kind of while I'll do that. And then just take that down to round. That way my fingers aren't hurting so much when I do this part. Oops, little skate. Not too worried about it. Rest down a couple millimeters. A high spot there. This camera's got to come forward a little bit. All right. Oops. Gosh dang it. Can I make that cut? Is there enough support? I just touched my gouge. Nope, not enough support. It's in the wastebasket. Oh boy. I don't know if you guys can see that down there. It's a garbage can full of shavings. It's in there somewhere. I'm looking. It's like looking for a needle in the haystack. You know what I mean? It's the same color, same. Oh boy. It might be lost forever. I would like to have a set. You guys got any suggestions? I guess just turn another one, right? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'll look for it later. Okay. Well, we got room for another one here, so let's do another one. Let's see. What's this on the banjo? If I'd turn that off, I could see it. That's so funny. There it is. Oh, thank you, Michael. And so Michael said, "It's on the banjo." So Philip, I can see it on the cam. Yeah. Oh, good lord! I just assumed it was so silent that it fell into the shavings. I didn't hear a tink off the metal. So there we go. Well, thank you, you guys. It's a little embarrassing. It's kind of funny though. I live for those moments. Can't laugh at yourself. You can't laugh. So let's see the next egg. Maybe right in there. High spot somewhere in there. Might be a little short. Okay, one more out of this little chunk. So let's V groove this guy. Kind of define that bottom. Oop. Little lumpiness here. Little lumpiness at the tip there. And a little lumpy back here. So it's all about the high spots. This is great practice for looking for those high spots. And I've got a high spot I can see on right there. And pretty much everything else is good. So that was one of the other things that Don and Derry talked about was just look for the high spots and turn those away. And oops. No big deal. I don't really care. It's all going to go away anyway. Tuck that end in a little bit more. I got to sneak my body behind the headstock and do that. If I could turn left-handed, that would maybe be better, but that's something out of practice. Maybe not on camera. Maybe is a good thing. So let's see. Is that that's way back there now? Let's get this camera into position and just kind of get a good view of it. And sorry about the movements. I know this is where I practice all this camera stuff, so bear with me as I do so. Boom, focus. Okay, so that one looks pretty good. I got a little rough right on the tip there. And we'll do a little bit of sanding. So a little 3/8 spindle gouge. This is the regular spindle gouge from Carter and Son Tools. I like that one. I've got another one that they don't sell anymore, which is unfortunate. It's the low profile 1/2 inch spindle gouge. A 1/2 inch? Yeah, no. Where's that little bugger? Yeah. This little guy. So I've got these two tools that I like for spindle gouges. This 1/2 inch low profile gouge, you can see the gouge is about half the diameter of the stock. And that just makes this profile really thin so you can get into tight places. The 3/8 is cool. It's about not quite, it's, half the material, but a third of the material milled away. Nice little flute standard gouge. They also make a detail gouge as well. So this is 320 paper, by the way. have a little line in here. I just want to see what it is. It's a bit of a bruised line, but do I take it out? I don't think so. I'm going to paint these anyway, so probably. Okay, here we go. And lest we forget, pop that out. Three, 4, 5 little eggs in a little basket. There we go. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I wasn't really planning to do that many eggs, but it was a fun thing to do. Happens to me as well. Yeah, well, if I hadn't had that picture-in-picture overlay, I would have saw it right there. But from my vantage point, the tool rest was obscuring my view down here. So, well, that was funny. I'm digging in the garbage can. It's not even in there. So, a little bit of sandpaper. You know, these are straight off the tool. You can see there's a little bit of, and let's go to this camera. I'll actually go to that camera and zoom this in. Oops, wrong way. And we'll do a little spot focus here. Can I get it? Spot focus is not working. Grabbing onto those words. What is wrong with this RX100? That's aperture. It normally autofocuses very well. I'm just not quite sure. Maybe it's just focused too close. Oh, maybe it was just zoomed too far. This camera normally has a much better autofocus. So again, this is where I experiment on you folks and figure this out. Let me, change that aperture a little bit. A little too bright. So off the tool, I got a little nub in the bottom there. And this end is pretty good. It's all sanded because I sanded fairly well. But a little sanding on there.
It's better now.
Yeah, I know. I'm playing around with the cameras. You can see where I've got some tool marking there. My wife just popped in. She's just trying to help, and she does a lot. But you guys just have to forgive me for playing with cameras while I'm on here. So those little tooling marks, we can just actually I like using the larger ones. Let me get these spongy pads in my hand and just kind of rub them off. I think this is one 240. Those come off fairly well, so I will do the rest later. Let's see. We are, hey, Michael saying hi to Shelly, Tony saying hi to Shelly, Shelly saying hi back. Yeah, it's good to have family and friends helping you, and good to have family and friends on this stream. So I appreciate everybody jumping in and and talking to me with this about through this stuff. So let me show this again. Oh, I got Shelly's name up there. 1 second. So this is the small plates, February 23rd at noon. Go get your tickets at woodturningtoolstore.com, and we'd love to see you there. And don't forget about tomorrow. Cindy's demo is going to be, let me leave that one up. Cindy's demo is going to be tomorrow, so let me see if I can find that again. Where's that? Banners. Yes, Owl Box and Spheres. Go to her site, cindydroza.com, buy tickets there, and that'll be a lot of fun. And other than that, any other questions or topics that you guys might like to see? I showed a few Carter and Son tools today. The little 3/8 spindle gouge I use quite a bit. The 1/2 inch low profile spindle gouge, the 1/2 inch spindle gouge as well. I've got 1/2 inch bowl gouge. Here's the regular. Here's a good comparison. So, oops, not that one. This one, not that one. What did I just do with it? There it is. Let me go overhead again. So here's the two 1/2 inch spindle gouges, right? They're both the same diameter and stuff. I've got slightly different grinds on them. But if we look at the profiles, you'll see this is where the difference is. So the low profile one is taking a lot more meat off. But that just allows you to get this in there a little bit more. And like I said, unfortunately, they stopped making this one. I wish they'd bring it back. I do like it. You'll see me to use this one on the small plates. It's a perfect profile for in this little cove cut right here. It's a perfect little profile in there. It's also good on this side, getting into here. Not that I need that small profile. When I use it on the end grain plate is really where it kind of works well, because this is attached to a log, and so I've got very little space in between there, and so I can get in there with this guy and get that cut and save the rest of the log for more plates. So yeah. Got any questions about those kind of gouges? I'd be happy to chat with you about those. So, and Philip says, thank you for your time you gave us today. I appreciate it, Philip. You have a good evening. And by the way, Philip, I did reply to your Lucid question. I'm using a complement of ATEM minis here. And so if you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to ask. So let me see where this one is at. This is for Philip's benefit more than anybody else. So we got the ATEM Mini down here. That's not focused. There we go. And then ATEM Mini Extreme up here. You don't need two of them. I just happen to have this one when I first started in 2020. Use this throughout 2020, and then got this one early last year. And so since I got both, I have one output of this, run it up to here. I've just got, so now I got 11 out inputs if I need them, which I actually use them all, believe it or not, but not all the time. But there. And then the glue that holds it together for me is this Stream Deck. If I can, oops, wrong way, and focus. There we go. This guy, along with some software, I'm able to switch all my inputs. So if I go to, so there's a preview change. This is all changed in previews. And then if I want to switch to one, to the tailstock camera, auto switch back. put myself in green screen, make myself small, move myself to the other side, go to infinity, come back to B, come back full. All those things I can do. I put my little bug up in the corner, which I should have done a while ago, and then turn on picture in picture. I can change picture in picture, overhead, tailstock. That's just a long press on these things. There's my PC. There's the ATEM Mini. ATEM Mini, I've got the headshot, which is not showing up. That's strange. The Miracast, Mechaspec, and the Playout B. So those are other Playout devices. And picture off. I can put that in picture. I can't actually. Huh. I should try and do that. I should put my media player in picture. Something to think about. Anyway, so Philip, sorry, other folks, I'm rambling on about this stuff, but this is kind of what it's now kind of the other hobby. It's really an investment in, getting to know my customers and delivering content and showing and marketing tools. And so it's been a lot of fun setting this up and a lot of fun doing these kind of live streams, and as well as club demos. So have a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. So easy enough to get in your own shop, in my pajamas 30 minutes ago, come out here, jump on a live stream, go back in, put my slippers on, put my feet up. So rather than traveling, 6 hours, staying in hotels or other stuff. So it's a whole new world of online learning. So I'm rambling again. Let's wrap this up. So I want to say thanks to everybody for coming and joining me in all things Woodturning. If you have any other comments or suggestions, just let me know. Shoot me an email. Drop a comment in one of these guys, Facebook or YouTube, and I'll go through that. This live stream I'll post up to my website again, and then we'll see you next Friday, 2:30. So we'll see you all later. Thanks for being here. You guys have a great weekend. One last comment. I saw Greg's pop up here. Something about Zoom. I did a live Zoom for my Woodturning Club last night. What you have would been easier. Thanks for showing that. Oh, Greg, you bet. I do have, last year I did a couple of videos, a series of 3 videos on the ATEM and how to set it up with a club, very basics of the ATEM, and then some advanced topics in the ATEM, the chroma keying that I'm doing, green screen, in other words, Luma key for this little bug up here, and a few other things. And then the incorporation of the Stream Deck and companion software to control everything. So those videos are up on my website. You can take a look under the video rentals under Explore Woodturning, and you'll find those. If you got questions, shoot me an email. I'll try and help where I can. No promises, but good to see people using the technology. So with that, I'll say good night, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you all for joining. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you come back. Last favor, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. You'll get notified when I go live next time. Same thing in Facebook. Hit the thumbs up or whatever it's called there. And tips helps me kind of get a little bit more viewership and stuff eventually, and reach more people and grow the family. So until next time, we'll see you. 2:30 Todd saying good night. Bye-bye.